Hey there, Heather. Hello, there's Jeff Cutter. I'm welcoming you to the playoffs, the big boy playoffs. We are down to 16 teams, all legendary teams, and all with stories to tell. Let's take a look at the teams and the preview and make sure that we got ourselves some huge stuff. I'm just making the injury list to see major injuries that will affect the playoff series. The teams involved, so let's do that. So we have some key injuries here, and then it will be notes. All right. All right, so let's take a look at matchups. The Minnesota Twins versus the New York Yankees, the 8th seed, the Twins, the third wild card, and the Yankees, the top team in the AL. Minnesota won 101 games in the season, second in the division, losing the Central to the White Sox. Or are they in the North? Oh, they're in the North, right? The Twins were in the North. Yeah, they were in the North, losing to the Tigers. Losing by 8 to the Tigers in the AL North. Home record, 67% at home, 56% on the road. 2-4 against the Yankees. So the Yankees won 4 out of the 6 meetings, so they have kind of an advantage. Minnesota was 4th in runs scored, 6th in runs against. Stats against the Yankees. The most RBIs against the Yankees was Earl Batty, of all people, with 6 RBIs and 7 at-bats against the Yankees. 5 from Kirby Puckett, 5 from Chuck Knobloch. But yeah, Earl Batty, really. Pitching-wise, the only wins for the Twins were by Furbo Marbury and Bert Bylevin. Marbury in relief, Bylevin in 9 innings. Good ERA, except for Goodaro and Pascal, who were terrible. Pascal was 0-2 against the Yankees with a 40 ERA. Yikes. Team history. Yeah, I guess it doesn't do anything like that. All right. The Yankees, 118 wins. Amazing. So it's a 17-win differential. 72% at home. 59 wins at home, 59 on the road. 3rd in runs scored, 4th in runs against. The Yankees, the best players. 5 RBIs by Babe Ruth, despite a 190 batting average. So 5 RBIs by Ruth, he had the most. Okay, and 2 home runs. Against the Twins, the 4 winners were Sparky Lyle, Rich Gossage, Andy Pettit, and Whitey Ford, all won. Terrible ERAs from Rod Guthrie and Lindy McDaniel. That's the Twins. Texas versus the White Sox. Oh, sorry, let's look at the pitching. So Minnesota's rotation will be Santana, Bylevin, Johnson, Boswell, and Boswell. So it's a 4-man rotation for the playoffs. Yeah, so it's Santana, Bylevin, Walter, and Boswell. The Yankees, it'll be Guthrie, Babe, Ruffing, and Ford will be the 4-man rotation. Texas White Sox, Texas 101 wins, winning the AL South. 57 wins at home, 44 on the road. They actually won 4 out of 6 against the White Sox, so Texas kind of has the advantage because they've won 4 times against the White Sox. 5th in runs scored, 12 in runs against. RBIs wise, 6 RBIs by one go, Juan Gonzalez, 5 by Nelson Cruz in only 12 at-bats. The 4 wins were by Francisco Cordero, Fergie Jenkins, CJ Wilson, and Charlie Huh. CJ coming in after Nolan Ryan was injured. The White Sox, 105 wins, only 4 games out of Texas. They won the AL Central. 57 wins on home turf, 48 on the road. 11th in runs scored, but 5th in runs against. 5 RBIs by Frank Thomas against Texas, 5 by Robin Ventura. Yeah. Against Texas, the only 2 guys to win were Ed Walsh and Chris Sale, both starters. But bad ERAs for both Jack McDowell and Eddie Cicotti. Both starters, I believe. So, yeah, that wasn't good. Texas's rotation will be Fergie Jenkins, Charlie Hood, Kenny Rogers, and Dick Bosman. The White Sox will go with Ed Walsh, Eddie Cicotti, Chris Sale, and Blackjack McDowell. All right, Seattle, Detroit. Seattle 110 wins are the second wild card, so they're number 7. No, sorry, Seattle's the top wild card, so they're number 6. 110 wins, missed out on the division by 2 over Oakland, and Oakland just snuck in. 60 wins at home, 50 on the road. They only played one series, which Detroit won 2 out of 3. So, yeah, Detroit won 2 out of 3 against Seattle. They were 6th in runs scored, 3rd in runs against. Brett Boone went off for 3 tater tots against Detroit, although they only won 1 game. And that was Mark Langston being the hero of that game. The Tigers, 109 wins, won the AL North and lost more. They lost one more game than Seattle. That's because they won the division. They're the favorites. Well, they actually had the fewest runs against in the AL, so that's pretty good for Detroit's defense. 6 RBIs by Norm Cash in that 3-game series against Seattle, and with wins by Jim Bunning and Max Scherzer. The Mariners go with Jamie Moyer, King Felix Hernandez, Elo Kuma, and Mark Langston as the rotation. Detroit goes with Verlander, Scherzer, Bunning, and Newhouser. Boston, Oakland. Boston, the first 2 years were terrible. They missed out on the playoffs on the final week. Agonizingly short. But with 103 wins, they did get the second wild card, so they're good. 54 wins at home, 49 on the road. 1 series against Oakland, they lost 2 out of 3, so Oakland kind of has the advantage. So if you go by season series, Texas is the only road team to have an advantage. So Texas could be playing the Yankees. Yeah, Texas could be playing the Yankees in Detroit, Oakland. That would be some good matchups. Boston's 2nd in runs scored. That will help our Red Sox fan be happy. And 14th in runs against. In the 3-game series, Ted Williams went deep twice. And the only winner was Papelbon in relief. The A's 112 wins, the defending champions of the Legends League, who won Game 7 against St. Louis by a blowout. 60 wins at home, 52 on the road. Not bad, 112. Number 1 in runs scored. So you have the top 2 run scoring teams in the AL facing each other. So it could be a bloodbath. 4 RBIs by Nap Lachois were the top RBI guy, and the 2 wins were by Rube Waddell and Lefty Grove. Boston's rotation, Roger Clemens starts, and Wakefield, Cy Young, and Smokey Joe Wood. Oakland goes with Lefty Grove, Rube Waddell, Chief Bender, and Eddie Plank. National League, Mets in San Francisco. The Mets, the 3rd wild card, 103 wins, 3rd in their division, but that NL East was a big division with the Braves and Phillies ahead of them. Mets won 52 on the road, 51 at home. The first team we see that has won more road games at home. They played the Giants and split the 6-game series. So the Giants and Mets, that'd be huge. 2nd in runs against. So the Mets have a great job not giving up runs. They're 14th in runs scored. 6 RBIs by Keith Hernandez and Neon Cleon Jones. 5 by Darryl Strawberry. The Mets' 3 wins were by Tug McGraw, Dwight Gooden, and Tommy Seaver, who had 2 starts against the Giants. The Giants, 113 wins. They won the NL West. 60 wins at home, 53 on the road. Split the 6 games. 3rd in runs scored and 3rd in runs against. So you have 2 of the 3 best NL teams for runs against facing each other. 8 RBIs by Barry Bonds, because it's Barry fucking Bonds. The 3 wins were by Christy Mathewson, Juan Marichal, and Brian Wilson. Not at the Beach Boys, but the San Fran reliever, who also has who had a 27 ERA against the Mets, but they still won. The 4-game series, the Mets go with Dwight Gooden, R.A. Dickey, Tom Seaver, and David Cone. The Giants go with Christy Mathewson, Juan Marichal, Jason Schmidt, and Carl Hubble. Pittsburgh, Washington. Pittsburgh, the winner of the NL Central on the final day of the season. They had to fight up the Reds and Cubs for that mark. 59 wins at home. Look at the road record. 1 game below 500. So that could hurt Pittsburgh. You know, they're the season 1 NL champions. They played Washington and lost 4 out of 6. 9th in runs scored, 7th against. RBI-wise, Willie Stargell. Pops put up 3 home runs, 9 RBIs against Washington in the regular season. And the 2 wins were by Doug Drabek and Babe Adams. Haley Chemnitz was 0-2 as a starter against these guys. Washington 103 wins to win the NL North. 53 wins at home, 50 on the road. 4th in runs scored, 14th in runs against, so they give up a lot of runs. 5 RBIs by Andre the Hawk Dawson. And the 3 wins, Pedro with 2 wins against Pittsburgh, and Dennis Martinez with a win himself. So Urbina and Clippard did not do well ERA-wise. Pittsburgh goes with Candelaria, Tenhill, Chemnitz, and Drayback as their front 4. Washington goes with Pedro, Dennis Martinez, Gio Gonzalez, and Pascal Perez. Atlanta, St. Louis. Atlanta, the number 1 wild card. 111 wins. That looked good, but they had to deal with Philly in their division. 58 wins at home, 53 on the road. 4 wins against St. Louis. So Atlanta kind of has the advantage, if you ask me. So Atlanta could pull one out of the hat against St. Louis. 7th in runs scored, 5th in against. 6 RBIs by Andrew Jones against St. Louis. Chipper Jones, 7. The 4 wins were by Eric O'Flaherty in relief, Phil Niekro, Tom Glavine, and Greg Maddux. Kevin Millwood had a terrible outing against St. Louis. I think he's hurt. Cardinals 108 wins, 3 games below the Braves, but they won their division, the NL South. 57 wins at home, 51 on the road. 5th in runs scored, 4th against. 6 RBIs by Rogers Hornsby. The 2 wins were by Bob Gibson and Johnny Tudor. Bad ERAs by Mott, Anohar, and Ryan Franklin, so St. Louis doesn't have the good relief pitching. St. Louis, the season 2, the defending National League champions. Atlanta goes with Niekro, Spawn, Sane, pray for Rain, and Glavine. St. Louis goes with Dizzy, Dean, Carpenter, Gibson, and Tudor. Dodgers and Phillies. Dodgers are 107 wins, 2nd in their division to the Giants. 59 at home, 48 wins at home on the road. Split the 6-game series with the Phillies, so I think Atlanta might play Philly. That's what I'm thinking. 8th in runs scored, 6 against. 7 RBIs by Matt Kemp against the Phils. 6 by Gil Hodges. 5 by Babe Herman, despite battling only 4 for 25. The 3 wins were by Fernando, Earl Hershiser, and Clayton Kershaw. Hideo Nomo made 2 starts against the Phillies and got rocked in both. The Philly Legends, 113 wins to win the NL East, and yeah, they were tied with the Giants, but because the Giants beat the Phillies head-to-head 2 out of 3, the Giants get the 1 seed. 63 wins at home. I think that's the most home wins by a team. 50 on the road. 2nd in runs scored, 11th against. 7 RBIs by Mike Schmidt against the Dodgers in the regular season. Chuck Klein with 5. Pitching-wise, 2 wins by Robin Roberts. Tweet. Steve Carlton with the other win. Cole Hamels did terrible. Dodgers go with Koufax, Nomo, Kershaw, and Fernando. Philly goes with Carlton, Roberts, Alexander, and Short. So we got that. But, you got the playoff tree and all that good stuff. Everything's best of 7. So let's take a look at the teams. First off, it's the Twins. 101 wins, 2nd place in the North. The main reason why is we got to look at the injury list. And Rod Carew is the big injury for the team. 6 weeks. So he's practically out for the playoffs. Carew is out for the playoffs. A ruptured disc in his back, where he suffered that on April the 9th. So practically early on in the season, Carew was out. So Rod Carew's injury is going to be huge because the Twins didn't really have a second baseman. Well, not to dispel things, but yeah, the Twins' second baseman is Chuck Knobloch, and he's okay. All that, you see the rotation and all that. Jim Cat is actually the pitcher that gets left behind, so Cat is not in the starting rotation in the playoffs. The Yankees, you look at them, and Lefty Gomez. Is it Lefty Gomez? Yeah, Lefty Gomez. Is it Lefty Gomez? The guy who's... How you start? Yeah, it's so cute. Andy Pettit. So yeah, Andy Pettit. I think it's Pettit or Gomez. It's Pettit who's the... It's Pettit that's the one. It's Pettit that gets taken off the bench. So Pettit and Dutch Leonard. Okay, Pettit and Dutch Leonard are the starters that are left on the bench. In a sense. So the Yankees, let's go to the organization. Injured list, Mickey Mantle's out for 3 weeks. So that doesn't hurt. That doesn't hurt. The Yankees will lose Mantle for 3 weeks. That's practically the first 2 rounds. So it will probably be round 3. If the Yankees get to the AL finals, they'll get Mantle with the high ankle sprain. Mantle with a high ankle sprain. He suffered that on September the 4th. So he only suffered that 13 days ago, and he's out for 5 weeks. So yeah, so Mantle suffered 2 weeks ago, and the Yankees have had to use... What's center field? Their starting center fielder is Bernie Williams. So Bernie has to come in to be a starter. So they're without Mantle for the first few rounds. The Rangers, their guy, who is the guy who is going to get the all-important boot? It will be C.J. Wilson, who kind of had to come in for Nolan Ryan. So yeah, he came in for Nolan Ryan. So Nolan Ryan's got the fractured elbow. He's out for 3 weeks. So he's out for rounds 1 and 2. So that was huge. Nolan Ryan's fractured elbow. That's why C.J. Wilson was put in the rotation in the first place. He suffered that on May the 27th. So yeah, so May 27th he suffered it. So that was in May when he went down. The Chi Sox, see that, and their lineups and all that. Pitching-wise, it is Red Faber who is going to be the... it's going to be Red Faber who's going to be the guy who's on the bench. Tough with 4 guys. Injuries, Eddie Collins is out for the first round. So Eddie's out for round 1. Yeah, so Eddie's out for round 1. So that means Nellie Fox will have to start at second base. So they don't have Collins for the first round. Fortunately, that's all they'll have time for. The Mariners, let's look at them. See who's the starter who gets yanked. It's Eric Hansen. Oh yeah, I think there was an injury. Was there an injury? Oh yeah, Randy Johnson with a torn back muscle. So Randy Johnson out for the playoffs. So Randy Johnson's out for the playoffs. Jackson's out for the playoffs, but he is actually non-consequential. So yeah, so he's out, but it's non-consequential. Yeah, Randy Johnson's torn back muscle. That was August the 15th. So a month ago, he suffered the back muscle, and he's out of the game, and he's out for the Mariners. That is a big blow. And Dave Fail was the backup catcher before he got hurt with post-concussion syndrome. So that's why Joe Gima is on the main roster. A couple of moves. Detroit. Jack Morris is the guy who will be put to the bench. That's kind of weird. Injury list. Detroit. Gehringer is out. Gehringer is out for the playoffs, so that's huge. Second base. He was a good second baseman. And Tony Phillips is out for 2 weeks. So Phillips will be up for round 1, maybe round 2. So yeah, so Gehringer, I think, got hurt early. Yeah, Gehringer got up early. He got hurt May 29th. Yeah, he got out May 29th, so he was out. And Tony Phillips was supposed to be the guy after him. But he injured himself in August. So that's why the Tigers' second base. That's why their second baseman is practically Lou Whitaker. Although it must be said that Whitaker would have been a good fit. The Red Sox. John Lester is the guy who will be left on the bench after the 4-man rotation in the playoffs. Injuries. Well, that's the big one. Ortiz is out for the Big Papi is not playing for the Red Sox. He's out for the playoffs. And Speaker is out for rounds 1 and 2. So practically, Speaker's out till the AL finals. So Big Papi was out on April 15th. So he played 1 month and then he was out for the rest of the year. So Papi is out, and Tris Speaker September 7th, a strained shoulder. So only 10 days ago he got hurt. So he's out of the lineup. So that practically means that Lynn, Williams, and Rice will be the main roster. Wade Boggs and at DH. So they're not really missing too much, but Speaker's a good hitter. That's why. Oakland, Vida Blue is off the roster. Organization-wise, let's look at the injured list. Wow. Oakland has 0 injuries. They did lose Fox for a little bit, but Oakland goes into the first round with no injuries. So Oakland might be the healthiest team. Oakland might be the odds-on favorite. They're not missing anyone big. The Mets, let's look at the Mets. And it will be, who's the guy who will be yanked? Sid Fernandez. So Sid Fernandez is the guy who will be off, who will be the starter that doesn't play. Injured list, Ashburn. He's out for 3 weeks, so that's practically rounds 1 and 2. So the Mets will lose Ashburn with a herniated disc, which he suffered in August. So that was just recent. So that practically means that Cleon Jones, Lenny Dykstra, and Darryl Strawberry have to be the outfield with Bonilla at the DH. Get your hands off me. The Giants. Tim Lincecum is the starter who will be out of the rotation. Injured list. Gary LaFell is out for 5 to 6 months. I don't know if he was a good reliever or not. I think so. Yeah, he was. So LaFell is out for the playoffs. So LaFell is out for the playoffs. And Gary LaFell was a pretty good, he was 6-2 with a pair of saves before September 15th. So shoulder inflammation, that just happened 2 days ago. So now he's out 5 to 6 months. That's bad news for the Giants coming into their matchup with the Mets. LaFell is a good pitcher, so he can't pitch. The Pirates, the team that just snuck into the playoffs in the final day. It will be Babe Adams who will be yanked from the starting rotation, 18-8. That's a bad move. I would have went with Babe over Tannehill. In a sense, I should change that. Yeah, I should move that. I should move Babe Adams to the starting rotation and all that. Injured list. You got Andrew McCutcheon. You got McCutcheon, who's out 3 to 4 months. So McCutcheon's out for the playoffs. Lloyd Wainer, we don't know about Lloyd Wainer when he'll be back, so that's a question mark for Pittsburgh. And Dave Parker, the Cobra, is out 3 months. So Pittsburgh's got a lot of injuries. They don't have McCutcheon, they don't have Lloyd Wainer, and they don't have Dave Parker. Now you have 3 guys. Kutch got hurt in June, and he's out. So Kutch got hurt in June. Lloyd Wainer strained of a back muscle, so he's out 2 weeks. So he's practically out for round 1. But he'll be back for round 2 if he comes back. And the Cobra, torn ACL, out in May, so he was out early. So it's practically Clemente, Van Slyke, and Kiner in the outfield with Bay DHing. Yeah, Van Slyke, he's really not the best guy out there. Washington, the Curly W's, as they call them. Who's the guy? All right, so who gets yanked? Well, someone did. Well, who's the 5th starter? Yeah, like who's the? I think it's Steve Rogers. Well, Rogers technically is the fifth starter, but he didn't really pitch that much. I think there was an injury. There had to be like a massive injury. Yeah, that's it. Strasburg. That's right. So Strasburg is out of the. So Strasburg is out for 3 weeks. So he's out for the first two rounds. That's huge. And Zimmerman, was he a good reliever or no? Yeah, he was. And Zimmerman's out for the playoffs. So they lose. Well, Strasburg's out for the first two rounds. Zimmerman, great reliever, is out. Strasburg was 17-6. Strasburg got injured in September. So he got injured 4 days ago, and now he's out for a month. That's going to hurt Washington. Yeah, he got injured on the final day of the season, and he's out for 2 rounds. So Washington's lost Strasburg, and that's probably why Pascal Perez is in the starting lineup. So that'll hurt just days before you start your playoffs. The Braves, I don't know. Who got yanked? Well, I guess someone got injured. Yeah, look at Atlanta. You got Maddox out. You got Maddox out for the foreseeable future, so he's out for the playoffs. Millwood is a question mark, but Millwood's a question mark. But he was 9-9, so Millwood, we don't know about how long he's out for. And Hank Aaron, Hammer and Hank, is out for the season. He's not playing for the Braves, so he's out for the playoffs. So Maddox is the guy there. Maddox was 12-9, so he wasn't anything special. He did injure himself in August. Yeah, 3 shutouts. But stretched elbow ligament August 30th, so he's out for the foreseeable future. Kevin Millwood was 9-9. A hamstring thing for 6 weeks. So I think it's round 1. It's practically round 1 for Millwood, so he's out of action. And Hammer and Hank, he went down in May. Yeah, so he went down in May, so that was not good. The Cardis, St. Louis, I don't know who. Yeah, I think there was a pitching thing, right? Yeah, there was a pitching. There's an injured. Adam Wainwright. The Wainwright. So Wainwright is out for the playoffs. As in Wainwright's out for the playoffs with the bicep tendon. He was pretty good in July. Well, he was pretty good for the Cardinals. That's kind of why, like Lanier came in to do his job. So he's out for the playoffs. The Dodgers, Dazzy Fitz has been yanked from the thing. He's 18-9. Organization injured list. Bill Russell out 5 weeks. So they've lost Russell, not that Bill Russell. So they lost Russell for the playoff. 5 weeks. That's pretty much the playoff. So Russell's out for the playoffs at shortstop. He got injured in May, so yeah, that's why PB Reese practically took over. Wrong button, Jeff. And finally, Philly. Who's the pitcher who got yanked? It will be nobody. I think there was an injury. There had to be an injury. Cole Hamels. Okay, so Hamels. Oh, and Hamels actually was doing pretty well for the Phils. He's out for the playoffs. And Scott Rowland is out for 2 months. And Rowland's out for the playoffs. So, yeah, Philly doesn't have Hamels or Rowland. Hamels, that's what he did in June. He was out in June. And Scott Rowland, look at the injuries he amassed. Calf soreness, knee tendonitis, mild hip strain, knee tendonitis again, knee contusion, oblique strain, and then torn ankle ligaments out 3 months. So Scott Rowland got injured 7 times, and he still managed to make 109 appearances for the Phillies. Yeah, that's why Schmidt and lefty old duel, I think Bancroft. I don't know what happens, but anyway, yeah. So game 1 will start soon enough. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. Adieu.